Hi, my name is Molly LeFaive, and I'm a member of Community Church at Ocean Pines. I'm here at our labyrinth, which is in the garden in the pines behind our church. This labyrinth was built and is in the memory of Julie Kolanowski. She was our choir director for several years, and she was well known in the area as being able to play the piano beautifully and teaching many students. We're very grateful for people who donated not just money to the labyrinth, but their labor. We're especially grateful for Phil Barton. His company did all of the labor for the labyrinth, as well as donating all of the plantings, the beautiful flowers that you see here, and putting them in. I don't know if we'd have the labyrinth yet or not if it hadn't been for Phil. I like to think that this beautiful setting is beside the still waters, and the plants and flowers, as you see, are absolutely beautiful during this time of year. This also reminded some of us of a very famous hymn. I'm going to be reading an article that was online that tells about a hymn that we feel is quite fitting for this. He looked a little like a Southern colonel in his white mustache and a small flower in his lapel. His extraordinary sense of humor and dry wit could be very caustic if he thought the occasion demanded it. A truly brilliant man. This is a description of C. Austin Miles, the man who wrote the song which is the subject of this article. Its popularity is enormous and prolonged. According to some polls, In the Garden let me start over again here. According to some polls, In the Garden is popular abroad as well as in the United States. More than 1 million recordings and printed copies of it have been sold. It is virtually impossible to pick up a standard hymnal and find it omitted. Miles attended the Philadelphia College of Pharmacy and the University of Pennsylvania. In 1892, he abandoned his career as a pharmacist and wrote his first gospel music, which was published by the Hallmark Company. He later became editor and manager of the music publishing company and served them for 37 years. He said of himself, "It is as a writer of gospel songs I am proud to be known for, in that I may be of the most use to my master, whom I serve willingly, although not as efficiently as is my desire." Miles' hobby was photography, and he had managed to build his own darkroom for developing his film. He discovered one day that he could read his Bible in the special red lighting of the darkroom. He often read passages of Scripture as he waited for the developing process to finish. Since he was a musician and a songwriter, he often found himself reading with the express purpose of getting ideas for the Christian songs. One day, in March of 1912, Miles, while developing film and waiting for the process to complete, picked up his Bible. It had fallen open to John chapter 20. He found in that chapter the story of Mary's coming to the garden to visit the tomb of Jesus. As she looked into the tomb, her heart sank because he wasn't there. He, standing nearby, spoke to her, and she recognized him. Her heart leaped for joy. Miles imagined that he was present with them in the garden on that glorious occasion, witnessing the wonderful event. When his thoughts returned to the business at hand in the darkroom, he was gripping his Bible. His muscles, according to his own recollection, were tense and vibrating. Reverently, he thought, this is not an experience limited to a happening almost 2,000 years ago. It is the daily companionship with the Lord that makes up the Christian life. In the inspiration of those moments, he wrote a poem. He later said the words and phrases came quickly. That same evening, he composed a musical setting, and in doing so, gave to the world a song that has now become extremely well known, In the Garden.
Hello, I'm Reverend Paul Tuttle. I'm with Community Church Ocean Pines in Berlin, Maryland. Going to sing for us In the Garden, written in 1913 by Austin Miles. Here we are in the labyrinth in the Garden of the Pines. In the Garden. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the ones I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other can ever know. Verse 2, he speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. I'd stay in the garden with him, though the night around me be falling, but he bids me go through the voice of woe. His voice to me is calling. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other can ever know. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. None other has ever known. In the garden. Have a good day.